Mr. Callum Kerr, thank you for sitting down with us.
Yes, sir. My pleasure, as always.
It is your first CMA Fest. How does it feel?
It feels great. I've been in town for CMA Fest before, but I've never played at CMA Fest or done any of the official things. So it feels really cool to be included. It feels really cool to be just asked to play some shows. And I put a band together a few weeks ago, and we get to play CMA Fest together now as well. So I'm just really excited. It feels like a step forward in my career and just in the lifestyle of being a country singer in Nashville. And yeah, I'm excited to see other people play and check out some of the other cool things that go on in town this week.
Who are you excited to see play?
We got some friends. I actually just run into Dylan Snyder downstairs. Do you know Lauren Watkins?
Yes, sir, I do.
Yeah, she's a good friend of ours. And again, she's got her whole band playing. There's some bigger guys. Like I saw this probably about 14 months ago, I saw Zach Top playing at like Bobby's Idol Hour, and now he's playing the Nissan Stadium, and we're going on Sunday. So it's, first of all, huge Zach Top fan, as I'm pretty sure everyone in town here is. But it's amazing to see someone going from that level, when he's playing in front of 50 people at Bobby's to playing the Nissan Stadium. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And there's a few others. I think Ella Langley's playing again. I remember her doing rounds at Live Oak. Yep. And she'd be on the round before me, and everyone thought she was amazing. And it's just like boom, it just takes that song in a couple of years, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing all those guys.
Not just you, but 90,000 people. They're all come down here to Lower Broadway to see all these amazing acts. As a performer, what does it mean to have so many people coming out to support live music?
Yeah, I think Nashville is probably the best city in the States for that anyway, outside of CMA Fest, and then CMA Fest is just the glitter on top, It's a good excuse for people to come down. You have all the best country acts here, and yeah, without people coming to see us live, we probably wouldn't have careers. So it's a huge deal for all the artists, and that's why you get people put on free shows. People, you can walk up to a random stage in the street and see a huge artist, and I think it's almost a way, of saying thanks to the community as well. I think for a lot of artists, and for me, it's my first one, so I'm just hoping that some people come and see me, and that I can just rock out with the band and that people enjoy it.
Now, you're a Scotsman.
Yes, sir.
Did some time in Texas.
Yep.
And now you're in Nashville. I'm sure you had so many different influences when you were trying to find your voice. When did you figure out this is the Callum Kerr sound?
I grew up singing like rock music, that high school, Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance, all that stuff. And I didn't really find country music until I got to Texas. I think the internet was there. It was just still young, and we didn't have Instagram and TikTok and stuff. You can just find artists like that. So when I got to Texas, Dierks Bentley and Jason Aldean and Trace Adkins and all those guys were huge. Zach Brown Band just had their first huge album, and then there was the Texas guys that were coming up. I say coming up, but they were like the road dogs in Texas at the time. Were Cody Johnson and Parker McCollum. And so those guys were big in Texas, but they weren't world renowned as they are now. But just the vibe, it was circa 2011, and the country music vibe was just immaculate. Yeah. And I was like, and first of all, it's easier to play a country rhythm on the guitar than it is to smash like a crazy rock and roll solo. So I was just intrigued as soon as I got there, and I guess the transition was really, I did a show called Monarch, which I think we talked about a little bit last time I was on the show, and that kind of gave me the confidence to say that I could probably try this as a career and see how it goes. I'll either do it for the rest of my life or I'll die trying, but
Well, personally, I think you're doing a great job.
Thanks, man. We're brick by brick, stone by stone.
Well, technically, we owe y'all a lot for what we're celebrating, because the Scottish-Irish immigrants that came over here brought their folk sound, mixed with a little blues and gospel.
Boom.
And so now we've got country. So technically, you are the final evolution to all of this.
Yeah. I was the start and the end.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I didn't even really realize that until I came across to Texas originally. But I as soon as someone told me, it was the Scots and Irish that landed in the Appalachian Mountains. It was their music, like you said, mixed with gospel, mixed with the blues, and it makes total sense. And I think it probably makes sense as to why it felt really easy to sing. When I first moved to Texas, I was kind of just copying how they sounded, but it just came naturally. And now it just feels like my voice. It doesn't feel like I'm Scottish and I'm putting on an accent. It feels like when I speak, I'm Scottish, and when I sing, that's just how I sing.
It's just you.
Yeah, it's just me.
Now, switching gears, you're not only just an amazing country singer, you're also an actor. Been Monarch and now in One Piece on Netflix.
Yes, sir.
What's harder mentally and emotionally to prepare for? A scene on TV and movies or performing on a stage?
Performing on a stage for sure. But that being said, performing theater on a stage is just as difficult. Maybe harder. Maybe I'd say it's kind of the same. It's like being in the studio is like filming a TV show or a film, and then being on stage is like doing live theater. I think the live thing is just you get so many more jitters. You can go into the studio or go to set, drink a coffee, chill out. If you get it wrong, it's fine. Cut, we go again. Same as in the studio, but when it's on stage, you've got everything to remember all at once. And I think in both you kind of have to be in character. On stage you are in character of whatever part you're playing, but when you're playing a live show with music, you have to be the performer that people want to come and see. So you're kind of in character as well. Even if you're not feeling your best that day, you gotta put your boots on and buck up and get on with it. So
I'm sure if you're acting on stage, you have to wait to the very end to hear the applause, and then as you perform it, it's every 3 minutes because it's every song. You either know
that's true.
You have them or you don't.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I think it's definitely the crowd is a little bit more immersive in a music show, which I kind of like. Right now I play the guitar for every song, but I wouldn't mind getting maybe one day when we're making a bit more money with the band, we'll hire another guitarist and I can play a couple, or I can just take the mic and get right down with the crowd and stuff. But yeah, you're right. You got to wait until the end in a theater show, and then sometimes at the end they don't even applaud because it wasn't that good. So I guess you get that with music as well, though. Hey?
So last time we had you in the studio, one big change has happened. You've had a daughter.
Yes, sir.
How has the father-artist balance been? Has it changed writing at all?
It definitely has inspired some writing, which, every now and then, we all co-write here in Nashville, and every now and then I'll go in and I'll be like, do you want to write a daddy-daughter song? And everyone's either like, yeah, or they're like, oh, not another one. And so it just, it depends on the day. But yeah, I think for anyone that thinks that, they have to choose career or kids, I would say that it's been the biggest blessing of my life to have a baby, and my career has only gotten better. If anything, you do have to give some stuff up, but if anything, the stuff that I gave up was the stuff that was probably holding me back from my career anyway. The staying out a little bit too late, and even things, drinking too much or having the odd cigarette, you're like, I just don't do that anymore. I'm like, there's someone else to live for, and then that, you just naturally start getting up earlier, and her first year of life, she was up at 4 a.m. every day anyway, so you're up, and then you just, you get to working, and my fiance, my wife to be, she looks after Isla every day, and I couldn't be more thankful for her as well. It's very easy to be the dad in the situation and say, oh, it's so hard, but it's mama that goes through it. So I couldn't do it without her, but I do think that it gave me a little bit of motivation to work a bit harder for her. It's for her now as opposed to just for me.
Exactly, it's more than you.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I still love being on stage. That's selfish, but the whole career and taking it as seriously as possible, that's definitely for her.
And another big milestone for you recently, Mr. Dustin Lynch invited you to perform in the Circle at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yes, sir.
How was that?
As crazy as it sounds. It was totally out of the blue. Kylie, my lovely label rep over here, / acting manager / acting, whatever else. The girl that does everything. She kept it a secret for months.
Wow.
And I guess, first of all, good liar. But yeah, second of all, it was a really cool moment. I've been a fan of Dustin Lynch's for the longest time. I love his music, love his writing. I'm actually, cutting a song that he wrote, and it's out there already. It's called All Out of Me. But yeah, the moment was just amazing, and it was a real honour to be invited to go play the Opry. I think that's the biggest stage in country music. Last time I was there, I wouldn't even stand in the circle around the microphone. I was like, I'm going to wait until I'm invited to stand in that circle, and so I'm looking forward to it. July 26th, I get to stand in that circle and sing a wee song.
All right, last question.
All right.
For your fans, for your current fans, and for your future fans, what do you want them to know about Callum and the artistry that you have? When
I decided to pursue country music as a career as opposed to just a hobby, I just wanted to make music that I would listen to if it was another artist listening to it. I want to make fun music, as well as songs that are meaningful to me, but I think that if you enjoy my music, that's all I can ask of you. Anything else, live shows, the following on social media and all that stuff, that's an extra, but if you enjoy the music, then it means I've done my job. So I think that's...
If one person gets it.
If one person gets it, I mean, if 1 million people get it, I'll be delighted. But I just make the music that I think sounds good, and I hope that others do too.
Beautiful. Callum, thank you, sir.
Mate, pleasure again. Thanks, James.
Good to see you, dude.
Cheers, brother.